We've had about, I think, 300 kids go through this program.
You're a Sriram graduate and you cracked the CA exam in the first shot.
So you really need to be an expert.
Were you a bookworm, David?
Yes, I played for Delhi State.
You once played, and is it of any use? David.
Hi, Joby.
Nice to have you on the channel, Kahanis Golden Bytes, David. Thank you very much for your time today.
A pleasure to be here, Joby, and thanks for calling and inviting me.
Thank you, David. Thank you. So, David, let me not waste any time and let's just jump into it. So, David, for the benefit of our viewers, could you please tell us, you're with Grant Thornton, and could you just tell some of the viewers who may not be from this industry as to what Grant Thornton does and, a little background of Grant Thornton?
So Grant Thornton's, one of the big five, as they now call them, professional service firms across the globe. We're in India, about 6,000 people, and our business really is, providing accounting, auditing, tax, consulting. You name it, actually, pretty much we're there to do it. In professional services, we're, pretty much akin to what some people call the Big Four. We're just a smaller version of them. But in terms of the width of service and the depth of service, we are, as good, and we like to say, if not better, than some of the competition.
So you're a global firm, and y'all have been in the country since decades now. And David, by qualification, you're a chartered accountant?
Yeah, that's correct, Joby. I'm a qualified CA.
So David, the little bit that I know about chartered accountants, it's a scary statistic. If you were to compare the number of people who fill out a form to sit for the first exam and who finally clear out with a CA qualification, it's probably about less than 0.5%. That's what I read a couple of years ago in an article in Times of India. So it's scary, and you're one of them.
Right. The statistic has changed a bit since. They've been liberal and gone up to about 2.5% now. But having said that, the course is still as grueling. And I think, the reason for that really is it's while they've got areas really identified, there is no syllabus. So you really need to be an expert in that particular area, and you can expect anything to come in the paper. So, it is grueling, it is tough, but, I think I'm lucky at some level, to be honest, Joby, to have got through both, the exams that I took in the first shot. I'm told that's rare, and I know it is. A lot of people take a couple of attempts.
Extremely. So David, now, if I may just, your professional space is absolutely incredible. It's top of the line, really. But for the moment, I'd like to just pause and go into, your childhood days, if I may just use that word. I just want to, for our viewers also, ask a question, which is, did you play around sports, or were you always a studious kind, always with the books? Because you're a Sriram, graduate based on merit. You're a chartered accountant on first attempt, which is so rare. You're with Grant Thornton. So were you always if I may use a word, not trying to, put down the people who are studying all the time, were you a bookworm, David? Were you a bookworm? Were you studying all the time?
No, Joby. Anybody who knows me from my school days would never believe, if I was to say I was a bookworm. My teachers, the least. I guess my parents would be shocked if I was said that. I was, to be honest, I thought of academics as something that was just part of, education and growing up, to be honest. I think sport is ingrained in me, just from my family. My dad's been a sports person. We always grew up, there was always sporting things happening around us. Football has been, family passion, I would say, right from my father. And I guess, also where I stayed and in school, there were ample facilities and opportunity to actually get out there and, play sport. I think that's something when I see today in a lot of places, I sometimes believe is maybe a hindrance, but I think I was lucky enough to have that opportunity. And quite frankly, I think, I would be the guy who would study for exams for 1 month, try to get somewhere about 60, 70%, be very happy with that and content. I remember, teachers, I think this is throughout, consistent through my schooling life. The teachers, one remark to my parents at the parent teacher meeting, he's got a lot of potential. And that's where we always left it, that he had a lot of potential. But I never really sort of pushed that side, I guess, of the brain till it came to some very, very critical years in life. And I think when I look back, Joby, I also feel partly I made a mistake at one part of my time. When class 10 was happening, that was a big year for a lot of people. It's a board exam, and I guess I did not take it as seriously as I should have, and I didn't score high marks, and I then realized that I had to balance this out. I was banking on sport throughout, but like my dad always told me that sport is something where you need ultimate physical fitness in anything, and just a slight injury could ruin a career. So you should always have that while you keep that as your goal, always have an option to fall back on. And I guess that's so I would say sports been integral, in fact been primary all the way up to, I would say, even college. And academics has just been, like I said, critical years, give it all you got, and make sure you get to the next benchmark.
So David, did you play football then in school and college?
Oh yeah, Joby. I mean, I remember, I think from class 5 or 6 onwards, every morning, I would get up early and we'd be at school by 6 o'clock so that we could, practice. And this was throughout the year. I think only the month of December, maybe because of the cold, we wouldn't do it. But I played soccer, right? Like I said, from class 6 onwards, school team. I played for state. When I got into college, it was typically. Yes, I played for Delhi State. That's
Wow.
right. I played the state team. I think when I got into college, I remember that was typically the domain. The football team used to be the domain of people who've gotten through the football sports quota. And I and there was another batchmate of mine who were the two only people in the team who actually were from merit. And we still said we want to play, and we tried out for the team and we made it. So we played even college and inter college tournaments. And I quite frankly, I continue to play. Just now that it's only corporate stuff, but competitive football has been a part of life right up to college. Absolutely.
Oh, lovely, lovely. So you played for school, you played for Delhi State, you played for college.
That's right.
So so what I understand from all of this is that you've really given your best to sport, and when it comes to academics, you put in your best effort there. You weren't saying either or. You went for both.
Right.
Trying to excel in both. So what was the driver for you, David, wanting to excel in both? I mean, usually there are a lot of people who would rather only play or rather only study, but a number of people would say, I'm not the playing kind. If I play, I can't study.
Mm-hmm.
What's your take on that, David? What would be your take on that for our viewers?
So, I don't think that's true, Joby, at all. I believe that, if there is a passion to do something, people will make the time. A lot of times, when I talk to people, people say, I can't find the time. I don't have the time. And my view on that is nobody's going to come and give it to you on a platter. You have to make the time for what you want to do. I personally think that actually sport and my work life have really complemented each other. Things like discipline, things like teamwork, even leadership skills. Really, I would say were first developed on the sporting field. And when you were put in a place of a captain, or you had a leadership position, or you were leading a particular thing. I think all of those things subconsciously have worked to actually make me a better corporate professional, when I come to work every day. And I think it's just that, at the end of the day, the unofficial motto that I go by, and it's the motto at the firm, is, you work hard and you play hard. And that really keeps, things in balance. A lot of people talk about work-life balance. And to me, work is a part of life. It's not, an alternate to life. And similarly, sport is as well. It's a part of life. So, we have to make time for the things that we really, give us joy.
Excellent, David. And David, what would be your advice uh, to some of the people who play a lot and who might think that uh, I play a lot, so hence I may not be, academically good. A self-assumption. A lot of, people
Hmm.
just be thinking that since I'm good at sport, I may not
Right.
be, and I don't think I'm good at academics. Is there a view on that you may personally have, or that some of them
So,
use?
So I look back to my personal story, Joby. I was in that space, I guess, if not consciously, at least subconsciously, for a large part, right? I never thought that I could top the class. I never thought I could get into Sriram College. I never thought I could, clear the CA exam in the first shot, right? While it was an aspiration and it was out there, it wasn't a realistic goal in my mind till I actually sat down to make it happen. And when I did, I said, if I'm going to put this effort, if I'm going to do this, I'm going to make it happen. I'm going to find out what it takes. I'm going to make the time. I'm going to do the things that require to make sure I get across, right? So I think that's a fallacy. It's all about confidence. It's all about thinking about what's possible, and it's amazing when you push your own limits, you realize how far you really can go. And the mind is limiting at times, but you can actually break those barriers if you set your goal to do it.
Thank you, David. And David, what would be your little advice for parents who have children who are growing up, young parents? A lot of parents, as most parents would tend to be a little overprotective at times and
Right.
saying, don't study, study, it's getting more competitive, stop playing, don't play so much. What would be your, a general advice on sports and academics to young parents?
Right.
Any view on that?
My general advice to parents about this is that if you're looking to see your child holistically develop, in the future as a great person, as a personality, as a character, and this I'm talking about later in life, not just the immediate getting into a good college or becoming, uh, having something beyond academics only is essential. The person's own passion, to find that, to help them nurture it and grow it. And it could be sport, it could be some other, this thing that they have. They could be great at drama, they could be great at singing, whatever that may be. But don't let academics overshadow and override that passion of the individual. So I would say it's not only sport, but whatever your child shows an interest in, you as a parent are responsible to help that bloom. We're all programmed to say we want to send our kids to the best school, we want to get them to the best college. But if your child is a great artist, why aren't you wanting to sort of, help them build that aspect of their life as well?
Or playing any sport for that matter, uh, is it beneficial in the corporate world? Is it of any use? Because it's a phase that's gone by. Yeah, you know, it's like as if, is it that playing days are over and now it's only work? David, what are your views on that? You once played, and is it of any use today in the corporate world?
No, I think Joby, it's of great use. If you ask me, one is about how the learnings that one has had on when playing that sport, when practicing, when trying to refine how that has been applied in the corporate world. So, I think in the corporate world now today, it's all about collaboration. It's all about coming together. It's all about teamwork. It's about achieving collectively. And while somebody may start off as an individual contributor, very soon when you hit a certain level in an organization, it's about taking people along, and having a collective goal. And I think sport is the best example of where that comes into play. Any team sport that you play, it's not about the one person, it's always about the team. And you may have superstars and you may have people who are not so good, but the team always comes together to get the best result. And I think those learnings of how to operate in a team, how to coach people who may be falling behind, how to motivate them, as well as when you are down, how do you sort of get out of that, how do you use teams, etc., have really helped me when I look at the corporate world, and the world I am in is only people. Professional service is only people. We don't have machines, we don't have technology. Those are all enablers, but we deliver people's time, and we need to make sure people are 100%. So I think that teamwork's been amazing. I think the one other thing that I think sport really teaches you is how to deal with failure, or how to come back. It's never a case where you win every game. It's never a case where you win every tournament or trophy, right? And that's what happens at work. And people who've not been through that really crumble sometimes. They cannot, they've never been through failure in their life, and they're like aghast. I've seen people get into depression. I've seen people get nervous breakdowns, and the first time when they get a review which is not stellar, but they've come through life thinking we're the best, right? We've been toppers, we've got the third rank in our this and that, and suddenly when they come to work they're failing, and they can't figure it out. And I think sport, anybody who's played sport has been through that cycle, not once, twice, but multiple times. And it's resilience that actually gets you anywhere in life. So I would say that it's great, and I think that's one in terms of what you've done, but continue to do it in your workplace. I mean, we at Grant Thornton have a football team now, courtesy, because we believe that even now playing together just bonds the team. You get to know your co-workers, you get to understand traits of them. You see them outside of the workplace. You have a drink together, you talk about it. There's always conversation. The networking angle that we look at in the corporate world, it's a great way to network. If you sort of have corporate connects through the sporting arena, they have very solid bonds. So I would say not only the past, but even using sport in your current profiles to further things that you want to is very, very apt. So I'm a big believer in they complement each other and on a continual basis.
Wow. You're a trustee on the Dinah Jones Foundation. Would you like to share something on that, David?
Sure, Joby. No, thanks that you brought it up. So, like I said, football and sport has been a family passion. My dad started a football club in Delhi. It's actually the 26th year this year that the club's in place. And we've, always been supporting basically children or, youth from maybe some lesser privileged backgrounds. That's been the broad objective of the club when it started. I started getting involved in that, some years ago. And then when my mother passed away in 2012, we were thinking about, what's the way to sort of create, immortalize her name, her legacy in that kind. And we actually started the Dinah Jones Foundation. And that foundation helped, one was obviously the personal aspiration, but secondly, a lot of the activities that we were doing beyond a point, we needed support, be it funding, be it resource, be it any of that stuff. And to do it in your personal name was limiting the scale of it. I think so. The foundation, the fact that it's a separate entity, it's recognized under tax, etc., has helped us actually bring in a lot more, and it's helped the programs actually achieve scale, and that. So currently, we run a couple of programs there. We have the clubs, teams that play in the league. We have women's teams, we have men's teams. We're pretty much an equal opportunity club. We make sure that if we do anything with boys, we also do it with girls. And that's what we've been doing. We run an underprivileged or lesser privileged program, which is designed at helping those kids get into college and hopefully a job through sport. So sometimes kids and the academic challenge being there, a lot of parents from these underprivileged families are wanting to pull out their child when they get to an age where they can work manual labor or support the parent in their job. And the thinking there is that if you send them to school, you're spending money on them, but if you put them into job, they're actually earning money for the family. But it's so short term, they're just making clones of themselves rather than trying to give their child a better chance at doing something. So we actually support these kids in terms of coaching, kitting, breakfast, things like that. Even their school fees at times. Wow. We've actually paid, because our commitment is the kid needs to remain in school if they want to come to this program, because we want to get them into college through sport. And we've had very degrees of success. We've had about, I think, 300 kids go through this program. We've had children get into Bhagat Singh College, children get into Dronacharya. In fact, they've even gone further. Just last year, one of our boys got into the Indian Army through against sport. So it's so fulfilling to see some of these things come through. That boy would have never gotten there had it not been for the program. Um, so that's something that we actively work on, and looking for more support so that we can scale it even further.
This is amazing, David. This is truly amazing. You've your personal love for sports, your pursuit of academic brilliance. You've put it all together and trying to work with society, and just not in thought, but actually in a very tangible and very real way
Mm-hmm.
in society itself. So this is just amazing, David.
Thank
David,
you.
I won't take more of your time. I want to thank you so much for your time once again, for taking out time. And I'm sure a lot of our viewers are going to benefit from from the thoughts and views that you've shared. Once again, David, thank you very much for coming on the channel Kahanis Golden Bites, and I wish you all the best in all your endeavors.
Thanks, Joby. Really appreciate the opportunity. It's been great talking to you.